Once upon a time, two boys grew up playing hockey in the village of Terrace, British Columbia. One of them went on to play in the National Hockey League. The other became a comedian. Now, one flies planes and coaches youth hockey. The other is still a comedian and owns newsstands. This is their podcast, Enjoying Orange Slices with Jeff and Ian.
Recording in progress. Hello, Jeff.
Hi, Ian. Hey, LB.
Yeah.
Did you put? You're having a little trouble. We'll let everybody know where you are in a few minutes.
I'm in the practice. At UPMC Lemieux Sports Complex at the practice rinks. I just got off the ice at the Lemieux fantasy camp. They scored on us, and we were losing. And I said, "Come on, guys. This is turning into a fucking nightmare camp for me."
That's awesome.
Hey. We played against Domi today, and every time he'd grab the puck, I'd go, "Somebody fight him!"
Yeah, he probably didn't have any problem finding space out there, right?
He was okay. Yeah.
Hey, the funny thing is because we're both on the road this week, but you're literally just rolling up from practice to do this, and we're having problems getting your camera on the right level, which I'm not sure we ever will. But Emmy says, "Hey, grab and go get some books." I said, "Hey, Emmy, we're in an ice rink, not a library." You're freezing up.
You know what the stupidest part is? I thought of back at the hotel, and I've got a whole tripod I could have used, but now I'm holding it because I'm such an idiot. Oh well, what are we gonna do?
There's in a book in any arena in North America.
I know.
I made my day when Emmy said that.
Even the books aren't in the book.
Hey, that's he gave you credit for thinking that you actually might actually read a book. Hey, go grab a couple books out of your backpack and prop that phone up. So anyways, hey, how's your internet there? Is it the same as mine was in Nashville? Hey, did anybody chirp you out there?
Oh yeah, I got chirped a lot. Mostly Randy Hiller. Do you know who that is?
Yeah. That's one of Busky's old buddies, yeah.
Oh, really? Because he's our coach, and he's giving me tips. And I'm like, "Hey, buddy, just trying to stand on my skates." You know what I mean? I'm glad you're taking this serious. I'm just trying to stand, bro. So, but I came away with a point.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So what was your plus minus today?
I was -2.
-2, but you got a point. That's all that matters.
Got a point. That's what counts.
That's
right. Got a point.
That's right. Robin Gary would be proud.
Robin would be clapping.
Oh, she'd be like, "That's my boy."
That's the pride of Terrace right there. That's the pride of Terrace.
You know what would have been great if you'd have busted out your old Lang boots again today.
Oh my God.
That would be the best. If you busted out some Lang skates out there.
You know what's funny is I got those new Bowers, and they're in a composite boot. Did you know that?
Really?
Yeah. Nope. I'm just like, so we've gone back to the future? That's what I was thinking, but I don't know.
Yeah, so, are they comfortable?
They're comfortable. They're very comfortable. That's what counts. Yeah, your feet don't kill you after you get off the ice. Yeah, everything else does. It's pretty fantastic. The feet survived, but the rest of me didn't.
That's right.
2 more games, but hopefully we'll get better, not worse.
You'd be like the Tin Man by Wednesday. You could be like the Tin Man.
Oh, I can't wait to text you from Orlando. I'm in so much pain. That's why I am this weekend.
You'll need a meet and assist at the airport and a meet and assist to get on stage.
That might be the only way to get through security right now is to actually get a wheelchair and get them to push you through those extra pieces.
No kidding. How just quickly, you've been all over the place. How have your travels been?
Well, I flew into Saginaw. Everything was good there. I flew out of Ottawa into Newark, and I missed the first day of the camp because I spent the day in Newark. So they had a ground stop for 4 hours, which meant I missed my first plane, which is supposed to get me in here at 9 a.m. Then they put me on a noon flight. That flight didn't arrive until 2:30, so I left Newark at 2:30 and got in at 4:30 into Pittsburgh. And the new Pittsburgh airport's sweet, but still, that's when I got in.
No,
So
it is good. I love the Pittsburgh is a great city, and the airport is set up for growth.
it,
Like
bro,
you know
they've
what I
got a
mean?
couple gates open.
There's some gates open if you want to start service, and it's set
When,
up really good.
when, they have never said somebody's at our gate when they get there. We're early, but no.
Yeah, yeah. That's never happened in the history. But when things boom in the Three Rivers area there again, that
Bar
airport
Riviera.
is going to be ready. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's going to be ready.
it
So
is a nice town, and it's actually sunny, and you got a nice spring day here. So looking forward to going out and getting some done. But our guest today, he's got some time on his hands. Our guest is Pete DeBoer. I wonder where he's going to end up coaching.
yeah, there's lots of rumors out there, but we're not going to give it away today.
We're not going to give it away, but he said
No.
he'd give us the scoop.
Yeah. So you might want to stick around. You never know what might get said on this one today. So
You never know what gets said on this one. My God. Let's go to it. Let's talk a little bit. Let's get to the interview and talk to Pete DeBoer.
Our guest today just spent some time over in Europe playing. No, not playing. He was coaching. One of the most exciting games ever in the history of hockey. And he's happy, but he's sad. He's here today. Please welcome Pete DeBoer.
How you doing, guys? Good to see you.
Welcome back to North America.
Yeah, you know what? It's nice to be back, but what an experience. It was just an awesome life experience, something that I've never I probably will never have the opportunity to do again, but I'm so glad I had the chance to do it.
You don't think you'll get to do it again?
Oh, we'll see. 4 years is a long time in this business, Ian. You know that. So,
Yeah.
you know what? There's all kinds of great coaches out there. I was named to the staff for Beijing
Uh-huh.
in 22, and we didn't get to go because of COVID.
Never heard of it.
Yeah. So this was my second opportunity, and I actually got to go. So I feel like a third might be out of reach, but you never know. But I would jump at the chance to do it again. It was so great.
That's my follow-up question right there. Would you say yes if they asked you and you just answered that question?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Every time Canada has asked me to participate in an event and represent the country, I've jumped at the opportunity. I had to turn one down because of a family emergency, but and I would tell players and coaches out there, it's been the absolute highlight of my career. Has been my opportunities to represent Canada.
Before Jeff gets some questions in, I got questions about what was like being over there. What as an NHL guy, what was the accommodations like? What was the transportation like? What was the hanging around the rink like compared to normal life?
Yeah. Well, you know what? It was an awesome, different experience. So we flew over there. The first thing you get when
Coach,
yeah,
can coach.
yeah, yeah. The first thing you get when you go over there is this gigantic bag of gear. They actually send it to your house before you go. So it's all Team Canada logoed Lululemon stuff, and you're supposed to wear it on the plane. And when you get to the Milan airport, so they can recognize you. Well, we're not built like the athletes, the coaching staff. So the Lululemon XL fit like a Lululemon medium on the coaches. So I I landed in Milan. I waited till the absolute last minute to throw the outfit on, but and sucked it in and got it on so they would at least recognize me when they picked me up. But and then got it off again as soon as I got to the village, so that hopefully nobody took a picture or saw me. But we went right from the Milan airport to the Olympic Village, and that was right downtown Milan, and it's a compound essentially, gated, guarded, and once you're inside, it's basically dormitories, brand new, college dormitories. Essentially, that's what they're going to turn it into when it's done. Uh, with a gigantic gym in the middle, a huge meal hall. But they also had some really cool little spots. They had a almost like yurts set up in the main area with different lounges and different sponsors. It was a fabulous experience. We were in a tower, Team Canada with Team Netherlands, and I think Team Japan, I believe. And I got there a week early because the NHL was still playing, and I had the luxury, obviously, this year of not being tied to an NHL schedule. So I got there a week early and actually got to spend 5 or 6 days with the athletes from around the world, the non-hockey athletes, and it was absolutely incredible to be around that energy in that village. I mean, these people train their entire life for 1-2 minutes of action, and if something goes wrong or they're not ready or they get sick, uh, it's over for another 4 years. The focus, the preparation, the energy around that village was something that I'll always remember.
So, hey, Pete, you might have kind of answered this a little bit, but what was your wow moment? It sounds like that was kind of part of it, but like what, away from the
Getting the
practice?
Lululemon off. That's when he said, "Wow."
Yeah, it's like when you put, other than when you put your Team Canada stuff on.
Yeah.
What, like,
You
is there
know,
something that strikes you, like a memory right now, that when you walked into the village or somewhere over there, you were like, man, this is so much bigger than anything I've been a part of.
yeah, you know what, Sharps, great question. There's a couple. Walking into the village, the center of the village, all these dorm towers are around, but the center was the meal hall, the gym, and these yurts and stuff. But they had the Olympic rings, a gigantic Olympic ring uh, replica right in the middle where people would take pictures. I think when I got inside the gates and was able to kind of stand and take that in, you realize. I mean, I grew up with the Olympics, as kind of the pinnacle of athletics, and to actually be inside the walls and be able to be up close and to that was an aha moment. And then I think for sure being around the athletes, once you checked into the tower, what Team Canada does, and I'm sure all the countries do, but Team Canada I think does it better than anybody. um, you check into your dorm room, and your room is absolutely done with Team Canada stuff. You've got a Team Canada blanket and pillows and logos all over the wall. Your name's on the door. I mean, everything's first class. So I think definitely, my first day and night in the village and being around that was an aha moment, absolutely. And then I got to walk in the opening ceremonies. So, um, I how the opening ceremonies work is, there's basically only so many people other than the actual athletes that get to walk in the opening ceremonies. It's almost a lottery type thing. And because Hockey Canada, because the NHL players were coming late, they weren't there for the opening ceremony. So a few more spots opened up. So I was fortunate enough to get an opening ceremony slot to walk in
That's
the
cool.
opening ceremonies, and that was an absolute pinch me moment. It was an 80,000 uh, seat stadium in downtown Milan where AC Milan plays. And the history of that soccer stadium was Maradona had played there and Pele had played there, and it's an iconic stadium that's actually 100 years old that they're actually going to, I believe, replace in the next couple of years. So, to be able to walk in that opening ceremony with all those countries, and be part of that was really spectacular. Again, I had to throw the Lululemon stuff on, so it was a little bit of a looser fit though because it was outdoors, so I had the parka on, so it was
That's funny.
actually I could get away with it.
I was thinking it was a fun, but you were chafed by the end of it.
It's like never felt so good in a boys' medium shirt.
Yeah,
Eh?
yeah, that's
Oh.
right. Yeah.
And there's the Canadian diving team showing up to the. I love it. How's the year been for you? Like you not working? Have you been looking out the window a lot? But I guess you were working because you had the Olympics. But now what are you just talking to people like
Yeah,
just dropping by podcasts with nothing to do?
you know what? I was worried about how the year was going to go. I was incredibly busy from September normal training camp through really this week. I think when I got named to the Olympic team, Doug Armstrong, the general manager, basically said, "Listen, if you're not working, we're going to use you. I want you to scout. I want you to watch players. I want you to sit in our general manager meetings and help with selection of the staff." Um, I had a bunch of coaches meetings. We went down to Tampa. I met with John Cooper for 4 or 5 days in November. We had other coaching staff meetings at different times during the year. So you know what, I ended up being incredibly busy. On top of that, I wanted to do some things that I haven't had a chance to do. When you coach or play in the NHL, but particularly coach, it's a 24-hour a day job for 9 or 10 months. And I had been to 6 of the last 7 conference finals. So I was, had played into June every year, 6 of the last 7 years, over 100 games coached. Um, I needed a mental break, but I also wanted to do some things that I had neglected for a long time, a lot of family stuff. So my son was a senior in NCAA hockey in Boston. So I got to see him play live a bunch of times this year for the first
Nice.
time in my career. My father's been diagnosed recently with Lewy body dementia. He's in a home in Canada, so I got a chance to really spend some quality time with him and help my mom out with that transition. So you know what, it was a busy but really rewarding year away from the game. And on the flip side of that, it makes you appreciate what I got to do for 18 years in the NHL and a whole lot of years before that. So I do miss it. I've got the juices flowing again. The Olympics got me really excited to get back and coach again. And we'll see what's next.
Hey, so Pete, just kind of walking into that, like 18 years, and one of your good friends, don't know I think you might have played junior with Paul Maurice, and you talk about the grind. Here's a coach that the last 3 years has been to the Cup Finals, and like just walk through how impressive that is, and like what kind of toll that takes on you to keep on, because you've been conference finals into June every year. Like,
Yeah.
is it a miracle that the Florida Panthers have been able to do three and not three in a row and get 2 cups out of this?
Incredible runs. And I actually just taped a message for Paul. He's coaching his 2000th game in the NHL later this month, which is like, I think about that. I coached my 1000th game a couple years ago, but 2000, I think it's second to Scotty Bowman ever in the league. And he's got a chance to maybe catch Scotty Bowman, which is absolutely incredible. But this guy's been doing it at this level for 30 years almost. And you know what? He's had different parts of his career too. People forget, he went down and coached the Marlies in Toronto for a year after he had been in Hartford and Carolina for a while. He went to Russia for a year and coached over there midway through his career when he had a moment where he stepped back. He also, I thought when he ended in Winnipeg, partway through the season that year, he stepped away from it. I thought maybe he was done. and then the Florida thing came up, and next thing you know, he's won multiple Stanley Cups and is going to be a Hall of Fame coach. So that's how quickly the game, you know, can turn for you, both positively and negatively. There's a lot of lessons in there about hockey and how fickle it is and how tough it is, and how a lot of it is just sticking with it and waiting for your opportunity. So I love the guy. We've been junior teammates. He was my landlord and my roommate, and my first boss when I started coaching. So we got a lot of history there, and I couldn't be happier for him and what's happened to him recently here.
Did you learn a little bit from him taking time out and not jumping at the next job right away after you left Dallas, and maybe not realizing how much it would affect you personally, like being able to help with your dad, being able to see
Yeah,
your son, like if you jumped into your next job, where you might not have been able to do as much as you have. Like, is it kind of
abs- absolutely. And not only those things, but also I wouldn't have experienced the Olympics like I got to experience them. I mean,
right?
no. Yeah, I'm sure John Cooper and Rick Tocchet and Bruce Cassidy also had a great Olympic experience, but mine was totally different. The ability to walk in the opening ceremony and be in the village a week early, all those things you just mentioned. I'm forever grateful, and I think I'm going to look back and go, you know what? It was maybe one of the best years of my life. And I'm a big believer. Everything happens for a reason, and I truly believe that, and I wouldn't change anything about this year.
That's awesome.
Hey, Pete, talking about that, you've been around a long time, and I'm just curious on what you learned about yourself or what you learned about the game being in the four nations in the Olympics that you maybe didn't think about or didn't know before, because obviously you've kept growing as you've coached because you've had to, because you've done it for so long. What did you learn or take away from the four nations in the Olympics? A thought or two that you maybe
Yeah,
hadn't thought of before or contemplated?
yeah. A great question, Sharps. I think a couple things. One, I could not believe the level of play, the skill, the speed. I remember standing on the bench in the Four Nations game and the gold medal game this year at the Olympics, um, and almost being a fan uh, at how fast the game was, how well executed it was, how many plays are being made, how hard the best players in the world were working. You know, both ends, 200 feet. It was really incredible because I've coached in two Stanley Cup finals and a whole bunch of conference finals. And this was a whole nother level above any hockey I had ever witnessed before, both those events. So you kind of catch yourself being a fan going, oh boy, I better wake up here. I got to change the defense. I can't just sit and watch. But that was my first reaction to it, was just how amazing the skill level of those guys were all on the ice at the same time. And the second thing you take from it, and you have to remind yourself, but you also learn, is these guys want to be coached. The best players in the world want to be coached. They want direction. They want to know what the plan is. They want to be coached. Sometimes as a young coach coming into those events, you can make the mistake of going, oh, I've got the best players in the world. What do they want to do? I remember Sidney Crosby, going, we want to be coached. Tell us what you guys want. So that's a great reminder that even the best players on the planet, still want to be coached.
You coach them to a certain level and then back off, like give them the knowledge of what you see while you're over there, or are you giving them more X's and O's, or are you giving them the knowledge of what you're seeing during the games?
Yeah. You know what? It's a little bit of both, Ian. I think when you go to one of those Hockey Canada events, the first thing you have to do is put in your team structure. How are we going to play? Because you got 20 guys that all come from their own teams and forecheck a certain way, play in the neutral zones a certain way, defend a certain way. play on the power play a certain way. So, and everyone's got ideas. There's a lot of alphas in that room. If you open it up to a conversation, you're gonna have a lot of different opinions on how things should be played. So, I think with
Right.
those short-term events, it's critical you walk in with, okay, this is what we're doing. This is the plan, and I need everybody to buy in. And I found over the years, World Championships, Four Nations, Olympics, it, if you do that, they're willing to check their egos and buy in. And so, there's a lot of that early in the process, and then as you're going through the tournament, then you're just tweaking your game to game stuff. But there is a fine line, not overcoaching. But when you're only there for 2 weeks, you do have to dig in and really get into some of the meat of your systems and do some real coaching early, especially to get everyone on the same page. And I think, and then it's just building your game, and that was probably what I'm most proud of. I thought our team played their best game, the gold medal game. We built that game throughout the Olympics. We stumbled around a little bit at different points, but when the rubber hit the road in the gold medal game, I thought we played about as good a game as we could play.
Hey, do you find that a lot of it's just reinforcing positivity with these guys? And like you say, you put the structure in, hey, here's how we're going to do it. And these are the best players in the world. So after that, are you just kind of reinforcing and like, how do you kind of approach everything once you lay the groundwork? You just kind of, because I mean, a guy like McDavid or McKinnon, these guys are the top dogs, right? But
Yeah,
you got to kind of make sure that you're pushing them in the direction you want and making them feel good about themselves. I mean, everyone's human, right?
for sure, for sure. And you know what? A lot of that, Sharps, is you're still teaching, game to game. It's all positive though. There's no Mike Keenan tear the paint off the wall speeches or kick a garbage can stuff. Everybody's there for with their hearts in the right place and want to do well. I think a lot of it is really conversations about role acceptance, because you've got 20 guys that are used to being first line, first power play guys on their teams. And now, it's not the McDavids of the world and the McKinnons that roles change, Makars, it's everybody else. And, I found that really impressive about every time I go with Team Canada is how willing the best players in the world are to accept other roles. Hey, I'm not going to be on the power play. I'm only going to play 10 minutes tonight. What do you need me to do? And they're not used to that in their club with their club team. So, there's a lot of conversations around that.
So as a coach and obviously family, right? Family is a huge part of this. What is Pete DeBoer, the person, taken away from this year, which hasn't really been away because you were knee deep in Team Canada? And so, what does Pete DeBoer, the person, take away? Like, what's maybe different about you as you get ready to approach and your next job in the NHL? And what's different with Pete DeBoer, the coach? Is there any tweaks there, or
Yeah.
same person, just recharge?
Yeah. Oh, I think definitely recharged, but there's always growth. There's always growth, and every time you get, I've always said like professional development in coaching, but I think in any job is better. How do you get better? How does Ian Bagg get to be a better comedian? He, I would assume it's you're going out watching other guys. You're trying new stuff all the time. I think it's the same with coaching. And the only way that we can get better as coaches, especially if you're a head coach, is to go to events like this and work as an assistant and be in a room with John Cooper and Rick Tocchet and Bruce Cassidy. And at the in Beijing we had meetings with Barry Trotz was in the room. I've done world championships with Ken Hitchcock. Every time I've gone and represented Canada and been in a room with those guys, you come out a better coach for it. So there's no doubt there's a lot of development there through the Four Nations and the Olympic experience, and I feel I'm a much better coach than I was. On the other side, I think there is an appreciation too. I think when you get in the NHL, I mean, I went 18 straight years without being out of a job. Every September in a training camp, you know, got fired in one place, had a job the next September somewhere else right away. So, um, when you can actually step off that treadmill for a year, um, you do recharge mentally, and you do realize, what a privilege it is to work in that league and with that level of player. Where I don't want to say you take it for granted, but you're just stuck in the 24-hour grind of running a team.
I find what you do interesting. You deal when you go over there, you deal with the best of the best of the best, right? You're dealing with them, so you're dealing with all that, and you're trying to take knowledge out, and you're trying to make your country proud, and you're trying not to say fuck on national TV at the end of it. So it's so, it must be so, because you said 2 weeks, it's 2 weeks, it's jam packed. It must be crazy mentally emotional for you guys to work. Like I don't know what the come down must be like after that week.
Yeah, yeah. You know what? It's funny, but it's like running a 100-meter sprint in a 50-meter gym. You just hit the wall. It ends, and it just bang. I
Yeah,
remember waking up the day after the gold medal game, and it was really years of preparation. We started meeting as soon as the staff was announced. We went through the Four Nations together. We had meetings the entire summer after the Four Nations, the build up through the entire winter to the game. So you're talking months, over a year and a half of probably preparation, where you got this singular focus, and then you wake up and it's over, and that's it. And that's why I talked about the other athletes. Like, I mean, we had 2 weeks. I mean, we had 2 weeks to build our game, to make mistakes, to turn a puck over, and not go home. And when I think about the perspective from those athletes I lived in that village with, where they train their entire life for that 2 minutes, and
right.
they don't get another chance. They're not going back to an NHL team. They're waiting for the next Olympics, which is 4 years away, and maybe they're aging out. Who knows what can happen. So, it is a lot packed in. The highs are really high, and when it ends, it is an emotional uh, smack in the face. And I give the coaches that jumped right back into their club teams, Coop and Talk and Butch, uh, big props, because that's really hard to go back and crank that back up again for a playoff drive in the NHL.
Do you punish the American players if they're on your NHL team and you go back to work?
You know what? I just think it. Listen, nobody wanted to win more than us in Canada, or that group of Canadian hockey players, and we're really proud of the game we played. And honestly, I think 9 times out of 10 we win that game. We didn't win. Uh, when you get to step back from it and take the raw emotion out of it, it was great for the game of hockey, the
It was
growth of hockey
amazing.
in North America, the number of fans that we hope we new fans that we got, new young hockey players that watched that and said, "Boy, I want to be a hockey player." It was a fabulous for the growth of the sport.
But it also says how much the sport has grown, that USA was able to man that kind of team. That's the
Yeah.
other thing that people don't talk about. And that's mostly from Canadians playing the NHL and living in America afterwards. So it's really, we basically played Canada B.
Uh,
Hey.
I'm not going to agree or disagree with you on that, Ian. I think what I will tell you is that the gap has closed significantly all across the world. I can remember going to World Championships years ago. I don't know, Sharps, did you play on a World Junior team?
No, I didn't
No.
play on a World
Okay.
Junior
Me
team.
neither.
No, I didn't get invited.
Yeah, but I can remember going to World Juniors, and you had a lot of gimme games, before you got into some real tough games. And now there's no gimme games. I remember at the Olympics there. I'm telling you, we started with the Czechs, who were really good. The Swiss were really good. We had to play the Czechs again in the medal round. Then we had Finland in the semifinal, and the U.S. Like five really tough games. There was not one gimme game in there. I think we played France. So I don't want to say it was a gimme, but that's a game you should win. But the gap is closing in the world of hockey uh, between all the countries. And as a World Junior this year, you saw in North America in Minnesota, where the U.S. and Canada both lost. I think in the quarterfinals.
Mhm.
Anybody can beat anybody. So it's great for hockey worldwide.
Hey,
Where does Russia? Sorry, Jeff. We're still on that Olympic. I want to know, where do you think Russia fits in? Like
Well,
where?
you know what? Listen, I coached a World Junior team in 2005. We played Russia in the gold medal game in North Dakota, and Ovechkin and Malkin were on that team. And there was nothing better than Canada, Russia, Canada, USA. So I'm a little sad that they're not involved. I'm not a big political guy, and I understand the politics of it. Um, I hope one day that we can get Russia back involved again, because I'm not sure it's a true
Well,
world championship unless they're involved.
I'll have a follow-up question on that. I understand why they were excluded from the Olympics. I don't really understand why they're excluded from the Worlds, because the Worlds is owned by the NHL, right? So
Yeah.
you have the NHL players playing in the NHL. If you're not going to exclude them from playing in the NHL, they should probably play in that tournament.
Yeah. Well, I did hear, I believe at the general managers conference yesterday, someone asked Gary or Bill Daly that question, if Russia would be included in the next one, and he said that we'll
Who?
see.
Yeah,
So he said we'll see. So that told me there's at least a consideration there.
that would be.
It's
Yeah.
funny because it used to be, as we grew up as kids, it was Canada, the Soviets, right?
Yeah.
The Summit Series, Frank Mahovlich scoring the big goal in the games, Montreal Forum, this kind of stuff, and now, because the Soviet, OV, unfortunately, and Malkin and all these great players. I mean, we were talking the other day about trying to pick three goalies to represent Russia when you have five that could be considered among the top in the NHL. Like,
Yeah.
so it'd be great to get them back. But the USA's filled in now, and now you have the rivalry. So with the States, I do have a question about the Olympic. Just kind of changing gears for a second. You talked about being in the general manager meetings. That must have been really fun and maybe really eye-opening at the same time.
Yeah. You know what? It was great perspective for me, because the managers, for a couple things. One, how hard that group worked. We had five people in the management group, including Ryan Getzlav, a former player who was part of it, and those guys were watching games every night, evaluating. So, a lot of respect for how much time went into and how many games they watched in order to pick that team. It wasn't just done off the cuff, or with a stat sheet or based on who, a guess on who should be on that team. There was some real heavy lifting work done behind the scenes. Everybody got seen multiple times before those decisions were made. So, that was the first thing that was eye opening to me. The second thing was just, managers do look at things differently than coaches. When you're picking teams, it's just natural. So it was great to be a fly on the wall in those managers meetings as a lifetime coach. To kind of see their thought process. And I know Doug Armstrong told me after it was nice to have a coach's perspective in the room too, because we do live in different worlds. At the NHL level.
So if we come back in 4 years and everybody but Talkett is picked to coach again, does that mean it was Talkett's fault?
You know what? With in this business, Ian, we don't know where we are 4 months from now. Never
Right,
mind
right.
four
Yeah.
years from now. So, you know what? I pinch myself for having the opportunity to do it. I've said this before, but growing up in Canada, my family were first and second generation immigrants. My mom was a second generation Ukrainian farmer from northern Manitoba, and my father was a first generation farmer that moved over from Holland when he was 17 to work on a farm in Manitoba, and that's where they met. And then we ended up migrating to southern Ontario, where he worked in a steel factory after working in the mines in northern Ontario for a while. So, the fact you can represent your adopted country, one or two generations later at an Olympic level, that was really important to my family, and something
That's
I'll
great.
never forget. Yeah.
That's great. Do you get a medal? Coaches get a medal?
Coaches do not get medals. We do get the Lululemon stuff though. I get to keep that, and
Okay.
I'll tell you what, I might send you it and see. Maybe you'll wear it on stage. I've heard your Lululemon act before, so maybe you can throw it on.
Trust me, I was thinking about you. I was thinking about you wearing. I'm like, oof. Let's get back to the NHL a little bit. Where are you coaching? Anyways, no. How have you been watching your buddy Spotter at all, and how he's been going?
I have. Yeah, you know what? He's if you ask him, he single-handedly turned that franchise around. But in all seriousness, he's done a great job. I think he has gone in there and really made an impression and a difference with that coaching staff. I know, talking to Marco Sturm, he's become a real valuable veteran, kind of
Right.
voice in that coaching room, because Marco's a young NHL coach with that team, and they've had a great season. So
Nice. It's nice that Spotter hired Marco.
just ask him, right? Just ask him.
Hey, Pete, are you a little surprised, or did you see this coming? So many teams. I mean, it's starting to sort itself out a little bit now, but you have the Anaheims, the San Jose's are coming, Montreal's rising, Ottawa still, got a crack at it. I'm probably leaving someone out, but did you see this coming? Not so much this year, but maybe this quickly, where all of a sudden all these teams are kind of like, hey, we'd like a spot at the head table.
Yeah. No, you know what? It's been a crazy year. I mean, if you think about the fact that the Leafs, New Jersey, the Rangers, are all almost mathematically eliminated from the playoffs. I know I'm forgetting some other teams in there, but and that Buffalo and Montreal and Anaheim are pretty solidly locked in spots. I don't think anyone would have predicted that. I think what it does tell you is uh, is that if you get in the playoffs, you can win the cup. I mean, the two cup finals I coached in New Jersey, I think we were a 7 seed, went to the cup final, or a 6 seed, and LA beat us. They were a 7 seed. And in San Jose, we were a 6 seed and went to the final, loss to Pittsburgh. So I think you just have to get in to really have a chance if you're one of those 16 teams. And I think there's a lot more teams that are competitive that have an opportunity to get one of those 16 spots, and people realize it's probably 20 to 22 teams deep. Which is great for the league, and that teams can turn around that quickly.
Do you think any teams kind of took that a little too seriously, just get in, and were just a little too lackadaisical?
Um, you know what? I don't know if anyone's lackadaisical about that. I think you can take it for granted. That especially if you've been on a run for a lot of years. We've been in the playoffs for I think the Leafs have been in 9 years in a row. Are they lackadaisical? I don't think so. Do you kind of I think it would probably more, do we see all these other teams coming this quickly? Did they see Buffalo and Montreal coming this quickly? I don't think anyone in hockey did. And then all of a sudden you wake up and you're like, wow, not only are they there, but their game looks like it's real too, which is even more important.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy to some of these teams that have just suddenly come on. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
when did they get a gas pedal in their
Yeah,
car?
yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I had an old player of yours send a question to me. I wanted to know if you're still rocking the Nicholas Lidstrom curve and how it's helping your game, Pete.
Who is that?
Marty.
Oh yeah,
I,
yes, yeah. He's the best. I am actually, and it's funny. It's funny you say that, but I was running the first one of the first drills of the first Olympic practices, and I'm into the drill, and I don't know, we were screwing something up, so I was dialed in, and Sidney Crosby skated up to me and he goes, "Wow, look at that curve." He goes, "I haven't seen one of those in a long time." So, and I still am rocking it. And you can tell Marty that, it still works for me. I don't think it works for anyone else, but it works for me.
no one's going to take your stick off the stick rack. Is that
Yeah,
what
no,
you're saying?
no, no.
That's funny.
It's a relic. It's a relic.
You're gonna somebody come in and give you take a point away because of that stick that was used in practice. I love it. Do you what? How do we get to this? W- do you watch teams every night thinking, not all teams, but going, huh, interesting. Maybe that would be an interesting place to go. Because let's be honest, I don't know if this is a weird description. You're the sexiest coach that's out there, right now.
That is weird. You've got the Lululemon picture in the back of
Yeah.
your mind,
Oh my
don't
God. Check out the cheeks on DeBoer.
You know what?
The stick wasn't the only thing that had a good curve in
it. You know what? I honestly, I don't, Ian. There's so, and you know what? You're gonna say bullshit, but it's honestly true. I don't, and it's because I've been that guy on the other end of that. And you know what? There's no worse feeling than standing behind the bench on a team where you're not playing well. Your contract's running out, your job's on the line, the fans are turning on you, social media is going crazy, your kids are, hiding at school because the other kids are on them. Like it's a terrible, terrible spot to be in as a coach. And I don't wish it on anybody. I really don't. Unfortunately, it's part of the business. But I purposely don't watch with those type of intentions because I've been there and I've been there a bunch of times. So, you know what? I think everything happens for a reason. If something comes at me that makes sense, I want to coach again. I'd love to coach again, but I'm not watching the TV hoping someone gets fired. Because it's a brutal, brutal place to be on the other end of that.
Hey, Pete, can you sit there and just enjoy a game, or is your brain always like when I watch in Vegas, I usually am just I don't want to say analyzing the game, but I'm not there. Like, yeah, when
Yeah.
VGK scores, everyone loses their mind, and they want the team to do well, obviously locally. And I do stuff with the team, so I want to see them do well. That's a given. But can you just sit back and go, man, that was a fun game to watch? Or do you always find that there's a part of you, because you are a coach, that's like, oh, that was interesting. Oh, you didn't see that guy there. That play was there. What, like, you know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah, no, I do know what you mean. And you know what? And I still am wired to watch the game from a coaching perspective. You're still watching. It's probably because, it's probably what's telling me, I'm not done coaching. I still want to coach again because I'm watching the game on, oh boy, that was an interesting power play. Could I incorporate that the next place I go? Or that was, an interesting way to forecheck. Is that something that I should consider, adding to my stuff? So I still watch the game that way. I will tell you, my Olympic experience with the management group forced me to watch more from an evaluation point, watching certain players. So, I had to get out of that mindset of watching systems and style of play, because you were watching Schaefer in the island, and I had to watch him in particular from an evaluation point, which you don't do as a coach. You're always watching your team game. So that was a really interesting perspective for me when I did it. But when I throw a game on now, I can't stop that side of my brain from getting a notepad out and writing down things I liked or didn't like.
You 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 talk about not watching the game and hoping somebody loses their job. But how does it work for a coach? Is it all through agency, or do people on teams kind of just reach out and see what you're feeling? Like, do you hear from anybody? Have you heard from anybody? You don't have to say who, but have you heard?
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah, yeah.
hey, Pete, what you up to? What you doing? Want to come over?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I have heard from some people. But I think how it works is a lot of times it's uh you know sometimes directly, sometimes indirectly through a representation. But it's hey, our team's not playing well. Can you keep an eye on us? At least watch how we're playing. Nobody obviously is prepared to make any moves yet, or I'd be working, if it made sense. But that's usually how it works. uh and again, it's not, I don't think those are comfortable calls to make on the team end, and they're not real comfortable calls to take on your end as a coach either. But
Mm.
that
Well,
that's the world we work in.
do you
I
have
think people forget that there's only 32 of you guys. And then with your staffs, like, it's a tight knit group. Now,
Yeah.
you're not, there's playoffs and there's some games that get heated where you guys, or, you're all very competitive. You're top of the business and you're going to go at each other. But people forget there's not many of you guys. It's a pretty tight, there's a coaches union, right? It's a pretty tight
Yeah.
group, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of camaraderie there, and I think just a lot of mutual respect for what we all go through, both during the year, and also the moving around, the family piece of it, the lack of stability, all those things. So
you you
go ahead.
you're you're in a situation right now where the guys that you've been working with as staffs have been with you for a long time, but they've kind of all found other places. So do you have in the back of your mind putting together a staff already, or would you not even consider doing that until you had signed a piece of paper to work someplace?
I think you always as a coach got a list of guys. Boy, I liked working with that guy, or that guy's really done well. I think that's constantly a list that you're keeping as a head coach. As you watch other teams, as you watch teams at lower levels, as you work at the Olympics, as you talk to people around the league, that's a constant list going through your head. And I honestly think, I mean, I have worked with the same people. I mean, Steve Spott's worked with me, almost everywhere
Never
I've
heard of
been.
him.
Almost everywhere I've been, but there is a big advantage to working with other people too. And I remember going to New Jersey. Lou Lamoriello hired me after I got fired in Florida, my first NHL job, and Lou said, I've got two assistant coaches under contract that you're going to have to inherit. And they happen to be Larry Robinson and Adam Oates, two Hall of Fame players. And it was probably the best coaching situation I walked into because I didn't hire my own staff. I inherited those guys, and they were absolutely fantastic. So that's the other thing is there's a lot of really good people out there, and you've got to keep your mind open to that too.
I know if I had heard those names, I would have been. Is there any chance of them playing? Let's get them off the bench and put them on the ice. Here's your first mistake, Lou. How big of a staff do you hire? Like how many guys?
The staffs have grown, like they have in every league.
But what do you hire? Like how many guys?
So you would have a guy to run the defense, a guy to help you with the forwards, another guy either on the bench or eye in the sky or both, two video guys.
Do you hire them? Do you hire the video guys?
Sometimes not, depending on the organization. Sometimes, you have that ability, and sometimes the organization has that, or you're walking into a place where you're inheriting that, and there's no opportunity to bring in your own people.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So I'm not going to get the video coaching job. Jeff?
No, well, do you have an airplane?
Do you have an airplane?
You're retired, aren't you?
No.
Oh God, no, not yet.
I tell you what, he might have a better job, Ian, than you or me. Hey, the daily flights to Hawaii or wherever you're going.
He's always headed someplace. He's always like just bragging. He's bragging about being in Portland.
Yeah, exactly. Well, once in a while, Lord Bag and I end up in the same city, which is kind of fluky. But from time to time, we can meet up on the road.
This is what he says to me every so often. First on the plane again.
So I don't know, Sharps, if Ian told you the story, but when I was coaching in San Jose, we had him come out and speak. We did a little pre-season event at Brent Burns' house, and honestly, when I look back at my 18 years, that was the most fun, entertaining team I've ever coached. I mean, talk about a group of characters on that team: Jumbo, Joe Thornton, and Brent Burns, and Joe Pavelski. They were just a really fun group to be around. They worked their ass off when they got to the rink. They played the right way. They practiced hard, but boy, they enjoyed themselves both at the rink and away.
They knew how to have fun, boy.
They did, yeah.
That night, I did I did a show for them. We had fun, but afterwards, as the things kicked in, Jumbo shaved off his beard.
Yeah,
you remember that?
Yeah. Yeah,
because I kept calling him the Taliban, and he was saying that he was always hurt because they'd blow him up in front of the net all the time, right? So,
but yeah, it was a team thing. The boys all got to take a turn with the clippers and shave his beard, and
but what we don't talk about is how quick that beard grew back.
Oh yeah, almost
it was
immediately.
Insane. It
and
was like 3 days later.
How different he looked without it. But the funny thing about that event was Steve Spott kind of set it up with you, Ian, and Burnsy was all in. And I remember Spotter had a budget, from the team to set it up.
$7.
Yeah, and you don't come cheap, as we know. But
not anymore.
But we had a budget for some catering and things like that. I remember the event ended. We're starting the season, and the bills started rolling in for this thing, and Spotter had handed off the catering to Brent Burns and his wife, and I don't think realized what was going on, but there was a margarita machine like on the catering bill for I don't know how many $1,000. So
Oh my God.
that was the shit hit the fan, so to speak, when the bills started rolling in on that.
Hey, Pete, you bring up a name that just an unbelievable one, maybe one of the best born USA hockey players of all time, Joe Pavelski. And if you watch some golf in the summer, you'll see him. I think he's won that tournament in Reno. So obviously his ability to play hockey's transitioned into the golf course. What does he do now? And is that a kind of person that you would look at and check in on him to see if he was
Oh yeah.
interested
Uh,
in?
Yeah, he
Yeah.
he he he's born to coach. Right now he's coaching his son, who's at the U16 level in Wisconsin. He's the head coach. He's all in. We talk on a fairly regular basis. Now about coaching stuff. Drills, systems. Uh, but he's born to coach. I think at some point I hope he does. I don't know if he will. Like me this year, I think he's making up for lost time with his family, that the NHL kind of takes away from you. So I know he's really enjoying that. But special hockey player, but a special human being, a special leader. There's a handful of really impactful people that I've met on this journey, and he's definitely one of them. And I don't know what he's going to end up doing, but he'll be a part of the game somewhere, somehow, and any organization that has him would be lucky to get him. I just feel fortunate that I got to coach him in two places, in San Jose and in Dallas.
That's 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 pretty high words.
Yeah.
They might hire him over you if you don't watch yourself. So you got to be careful about that. Um, uh, I I I think it must be so interesting being where you are and taking the year off. You must be so relaxed, but at the same time, in the back of your head, have a little bit of anxiety that the boat doesn't leave without you, right? And I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm just like
Yeah, yeah,
I understand. Like no, I don't think the boat's going to leave without you, but
yeah,
just being a person, how do you deal with that? Because that's like we talk about mental health and that's huge. Like I don't know, like
yeah,
a lot of people don't understand being your own business means if you're not paddling, you're going backwards,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
So
No, that's natural, and for sure, and I think when you get out of the game, you realize, how quickly the game moves on without you. You always think you're this important cog in the wheel, and then and then you're not, and you realize, boy, they didn't even stumble for a second without me and as one of the spokes there.
that's funny.
So
I can't believe this car runs on four lug nuts.
yeah. So, what, for sure it's human nature, but you know what? It's a different anxiety than when I lost my job in Florida with three kids under 10, and didn't have enough money, and didn't know what was next, and had to work. I mean, it's a different anxiety at this point in my career than that. And so I don't want to say you're more relaxed about it, but you are more
Awesome.
relaxed about it. Yeah.
I loved your answer of I don't give a fuck.
Here it is. Take it or leave it.
The game's better with you in it. I love that you were able to spend time with your family and really, get that human what you needed, right? So, but the game is better with you in it. So I look forward to seeing where you end up next. And I can't believe that you're going to drop by and let us know first when you get a job. Take that,
First
Millard.
call.
Shut it.
Yeah. Hey, keep an eye open for bicyclists in your neighborhood there too, eh?
I will.
He's not
He's
the most stable
dangerous.
guy on a bike. So
He's dangerous.
Uh, I love it. Well, we got. Hopefully, we'll be able to get you out to a show before you go back to work, or even afterwards, whatever. But thanks for dropping by. I was like, oh, I'm gonna ask Pete if he's gonna come in. And I was like, hello, Pete, it's Bag. And you and you're like, yeah. So I was like, oh, that's awesome. So thanks for doing that, man. We really appreciate you dropping by, and congratulations on the Olympics. I know somebody has to lose, right?
Yeah.
And it's shitty, but the game was amazing, and the game of hockey won. That's all you have to, as you know,
Yeah.
at the same time as a Canadian, motherfucker, goddamn hellebuck.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thanks for dropping by, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Pete.
guys. Always a pleasure. Say
You're
hi
the
to
best.
Marty for me, Sharps. Yeah.
I will. I'll see him this week. So thanks for
Yeah.
coming on, Pete. Really
All
appreciate
right.
it.
See you guys.
Have a great day.
Pete's fantastic. You know what? I'm glad he was able to get some summertime, some winter time off. Good for him.
Yeah, and it's he just I really wonder how he handled it because he really didn't have any time off. He was doing some different things. Like it wasn't like he was just sitting there by the fireplace going, "Well, I might go down and have breakfast with my buddies, or
Yeah.
might go out play golf or with or whatever, wherever he's been. He's been all over. He's been scouting. I'm sure he has, and he touched on it, but I'm sure he's like and as long as he's been in the game, this year might be one of the most important years where he's kind of reset himself. He's watched a lot of players he wouldn't normally watch. And he, as he talked about being in the general manager meetings and in with all the scouts and everyone else all giving their input, I think that's going to really bode well wherever he lands next. And I would say that's probably sooner than later.
I would say you are correct about that, and I would say probably great for him not to be on such a schedule, even though he worked. He wasn't on that NHL schedule where he was going someplace every day at certain times. So I think that really resets the body. So good for him.
Well, and you look at him, he looks great. And the other thing that really struck me is his Olympic experience. He got the full Monty, right? He got to do the full meal deal there. And a lot of the other guys, you can see a lot of the players and coaches that have come back. Tough to tell with the coaches other than when you see them in the pregame or postgame interviews. But a lot of the players it's taken them, it took a toll on them. Whereas Pete went over there, he could enjoy the experience. Obviously, it's very stressful trying to win gold for Canada, and everything involved. But
But a different stress completely. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So
yeah,
good for him.
yeah. So, well, hey, he was awesome. So I guess we should wrap. We have a friend that we need to discuss.
Yeah, we both have a shout out this week, and I think he's both of our shout out this week. We lost our buddy Kevin Wiley, and I didn't know he was I didn't know he was sick. Did you know he was sick?
No, and that's the kind of guy he was. You'd never know it. He was a combination of being the kindest, nicest person. He could combine the combination with the toughest person. And I'll never forget. He told my brother years ago. he goes, Dougie, he says, I never close my fist because I don't want to hurt my knuckles. So he just open hand guys, and that was it. Just come up
Just
and
funny.
hey, and so
That's really funny.
but he was the nicest guy you'd ever
Just
meet.
he was a guide. He was a fisherman. He was part of the Coast Guard up there in Prince Rupert. I think he's the kind of guy that a community finds hard to replace, right? So yeah, he was a good guy.
Yeah, he was. You know what? And I got a couple stories. One about hockey. So we came up years ago when I was playing junior, Seattle and Kelowna. We went up to Terrace to play exhibition games against the men's senior men's teams, and then we played each other. So we played in Terrace and Kitimat. A couple of our guys, at least one of them, thought they'd try Kevin on for size. Well, that didn't last very long, right? So he beat the hell out of a couple of our guys. So I'm like, you might want to leave number 6 alone, guys. But might not want to go over there. But
He could get breaks back because he beat him off me.
he was amazing. But what really his gift was for people, his family, his wife Val, and the kids. Val's awesome. She's a commercial fisherman too. His wife Kevin was a guide out and worked for the Port Authority in Prince Rupert.
Mhm.
And you're right about community. And I'll never forget, we were out fishing with him one time. And I'm sitting there staring off in the breeze, looking off in the ocean. And Flats is out there with us. And Michelle's out. And I forget, we had a group of people. And the next thing you know, he just put the lines down for halibut, and he starts dancing around the boat, and we got a quadruple header of halibut, and he's
That's
like
amazing.
Baryshnikov, and that's I always think about, like, if you want to see a person in their own league in something, Kevin Wiley on a fishing boat, unbelievable. And that's why I was comparing him to Baryshnikov, because there's only one Baryshnikov, there's only one Kevin Wiley, and we got all 4 halibut into the boat, and he was just sitting there laughing, watching us bumble around, try and get those fish up. But just a
That's
wonderful guy.
and it's a bummer because we've all talked about going out with him, over the years. We got to get out with Kevin. We got to get out with Kevin. And it's sad that we didn't all get out with him again. And it's,
Yeah.
don't take it for granted. Right.
No,
So,
and he's got, we went to school with his twin brother and sister,
uh-huh.
Donna and Dawn.
Don
And
and Don, because they only had so many letters.
that's right. So, anyways, we're thinking of all the Wileys, and you just don't replace someone like Kevin. And you don't say stuff like it breaks my heart very often, but this is a tough one for us, and it definitely breaks your heart.
When I got that, it sent it immediately to you, and I knew it would. It was one of those things we were hoping wasn't true, and it was. So yeah.
Yeah.
Love to all. Much love to the Wiley family.
Love to all.